Привет из Дубая. С вами передача «Голубь мира», где разбираем крутые навыки. Спрашиваем на английском, отвечаем на русском. Подтягивайте язык или смотрите перевод в тайм-кодах. Let's talk about progress and let's start with the definition.
Progress, this is a way which humankind is going through the ages. First, we try to process stone, and we were using stone hammers. Then we were discovering metal. It was a Bronze Age, Iron Age, and so on. Then we found steam engine. Then it was became of time of electricity. Then internet, and now we have artificial intelligence. So progress, this is a stage of science which could be applied to our life.
And when it comes to progress, like what is the point to actually learn this kind of thing? Because it seems that it's just a process that is going on, and you just could be a part of it, or you just can be an observer.
In Russian language, there is a saying that progress is moved by a lazy people. If you don't want to do something, you will find the way how to do by someone or something without you. By the way, it is very funny, but if I will ask you what the three home appliances were created while we have an electricity. On the first place, it was a woman vibrator, because a lot of women were having some problems with this, and people who works in apotheques were called to this woman, and they were trying to make it by their fingers. So when electricity came in our life, the very first appliance, it was vibrator. Second was iron, because we want to have our knitty clothes, and on the third place it was a toaster to make bread looking like a fresh. So progress, and that is when we think how to simplify our routine.
And sometimes we actually might be, I would say, like overthinking or over engineering or making progress just for the sake of making progress. So how to avoid going into the directions that might not be helpful for businesses or even the humanity?
It's unavoidable. We will create a lot of things that will not go to the use. If you'll see a magazine of patents, you will find a lot of different things: how to make tea, how to boil eggs, how to clean windows. And when you'll see, you'll think maybe just mad people could create such a description, but it's always happen. So a lot of thoughts of minds will go to the life, and people will decide, is it worth to have or not? For example, not too many people were aware about gas lighting, because they were afraid that something was fired up. But now we have light in any room of our flat.
Besides of laziness, what other skills or knowledge or maybe even the attitude or mindset should one person have in order to actually come up with the things that will move the entire group forward?
I think this is practical thinking. For example, the man who developed radio, he was asked, is it possible to use his device to transmit signals from the birch? And he tell, no, I am scientific man, and I created for worse data. But no one was knowing what to transfer with radio. And first implementation of radio was to make to announce price for some papers. Or another, were a lot of attempts to build different vehicles, and suddenly it was a request if someone could make a vehicle that will harvest, for example, corn or some other kind of weeds. And a lot of people were saying, we are not going to lose our life to create such miserable things.
And how open or skeptical we should be when it comes to trying or like even thinking about the things that current progress brings into our lives.
It is we don't need to be skeptical. Our life will put everything on places. For example, do you remember several years ago, a lot of children were going with such name spinner, some small pieces with I don't know how to say подшипник.
Um, like a roller ball.
Okay, rollerball, and they were just trying put it. Then it was flip flop, then it was huggy wuggy doll, and so on. But suddenly, after a small period of time, everything that will become a dead. So if you will force people to buy something, to use something, they will not. This will not stand. For example, do you remember our leader Khrushchev in Soviet Union time? He suddenly realized that would be easier to feed people with corn bread, but it was not tasty and no one wants to eat it. Yes, was an invention, but it doesn't stand until now.
And my last question will be how knowing about progress could help to make this world a better place.
A lot of people who think just about themselves, they create nothing and they will have just a stone tomb. But some people are trying to have something out of their life. For example, they invent starships, they invent some pasteurization or vaccine against deadly diseases, and we remember them. So to think about progress is to have something for the people, not just for yourself.
Всегда смотрите вперед и думайте не только о себе, а мы рассмотрели навык прогресс и чем он полезен именно вам. Всем мира!